I have tried to record this video for over 2 years. Every single time, something goes wrong. Something doesn't record. I get interrupted. A dump truck comes by. A helicopter crashes nearby my house. A frickin' F-14 crashes into the freeway nearby. YouTube decides, oh, I'm going to let you upload this whole thing and then restart it at 92% and keep restarting it for 14 hours and it's never going to upload. I don't care right now. I don't care. I swear to every single god and demon in every single pantheon of every religious existence on this planet and every other planet throughout this universe, across every other multiverse, all the way up to the 10th dimension's ultimate ultraverse, until the absolute heat death of all existence and there is no one left. If I am the last person here, I will convert this video into ones and zeros on a piece of paper and shove it into a LAN socket and punch it until it finally frickin' uploads! Oh, almost lost my temper there. So we're in crappy video quality now because maybe it'll actually upload if it's, an hour-long video that's, only a megabyte, because the doing it in 32 gig files size just did not work. So, where do I begin? Chains of Promathia was new, and it was difficult to get anything done. Even though me and a couple other people had gotten, the 40-plus people in our link shell through all the Prometheans, no one really wanted to go beyond that because it was just a pain in the butt to always have to buy new gear for every level capped zone and then fight a bunch of impossibly difficult mobs that you're forced to fight at a certain level with gear that's overly expensive to make sure you're even somewhat functional. No one wanted to do it. At some point, we had a couple people join our link shell, and two of them was a husband and wife duo. And, we asked them, because we're getting everyone through Promethean at the time, hey, you guys done Promethean yet? We're pretty good at doing it. We've succeeded at it like 15 times at this point, over and over again, so y'all want to do it? And immediately, the husband, Tarrant, I do not remember the name of the wife, and by the title of this video, you probably understand why I've blocked it out of my memory. So we're just going to call her Christina, just so I have a name, so I'm not just, saying some anomalous he, she, whatever. Tarrant and Christina, okay? Tarrant is like, oh, dude, I've been dying to do Promethean, but every time I get into a group, no one can get to the top floor. Even when we do get to the top floor, it's only 5 people, and it's not a full party, because when CoP first came out, the teleporters would disappear in 10 frickin' short seconds, and if you were standing far away from the teleporter to not get killed by the ads to recover your MP as a mage, you probably weren't going to get in the teleporter in time. Thanks for that fantastic design, Square Enix. Glad you finally changed that, but God, what a piece of garbage that was at first. No one could even start your frickin' expansion, much less get to see. So, we get them all through the Prometheans in like 4 hours, You didn't even need to use 2 hours in one of them, but, the progenitor and that weird goofy spider thing with his stupid-ass face. Yeah, you needed 2 hours for those, because the damage from the ads piled up too much, and the spider just crit you like a truck with its TP skills. And it also spread poison broom everywhere. That thing was, that was awful. 20 HP poison ticks at level 30 cap? What the hell, man? I didn't mind it as an alchemist because it made people buy tons of antidotes, which never sold otherwise, and I was able to make money off of that, so yay for me. But, we get these guys to Tavnazi and Safehold like the day they join, basically. And then we're like, all right, we've done enough for today. Let's get up to Riverine Site A01. We'll finish that tomorrow, okay? And White Dragon Null on Summoner and Riston on Bard joined. They had another friend, Taru Red Mage, so that was 6 of us total. And Tarrant only played Ninja, and I only really wanted to play Paladin, and frankly, for the Mammoth fight, you need more than one tank anyway, so the 4 of them, sans Null, they went and fought the one on the right. Null's carbuncle sack pulling the one in the back toward the spawn area repeatedly. He comes and hits two of them with astral flow, knocks out the main one. The other one's got a big chunk of his HP gone. But then it pulls out the freaking Talwar. And when it has the sword out, the mammoth, it's got a crit rate of 80%. And it starts spamming Circle of Ruin. Knocks out 4 of them. Null's the only one left. beelines into him. His carbuncle gets interrupted. He goes down. And I'm like, oh, crap, we're going to fail. Oh, hey, this thing's only at 1%. Control W, target. Red Lotus Blade. Get F'd, bro. You're down. It's just me and one other mammoth. I've soloed it down to like 50% on my own. I came in with, Icarus Wing, Vile Elixir +3, tons of High Potion +3s, pineapple juice out the butt so I could spam heals on myself the whole time. And then I made the stupid decision of once this thing's at, like 5%, I'm like, okay, I'm going to use Berserker, cancel Defender, I'm going to Fast Blade it. I'm going to take this thing out. So before I have TP, and I'd already used my Icarus Wing earlier to try and get a flat blade off to stun it when it was in a black mage form, otherwise it's going to nuke me, and thankfully it did stun. But I didn't have the Icarus Wing ready, and then I stupidly hit Berserk, cancel Defender at 95% TP, and then it pulls out its sword, crits me 3 times, and I miss, boom, go down. Felt dumb. But, as we're chilling in the area afterwards, Christina's all typing in the chat is like, dude, Toronto's all like just screaming over here right now about no way a paladin almost soloed one of those mammoths. That's impossible. Paladins can't do anything. And I was like, you ain't never seen a paladin like me. Believe that. So our 2 hours were wasted. We home point, go back to Tavnazian Safehold, go in there again, and we stomped the floor with it. I don't know. We were just in high spirits at that point. We weren't crying about failing or having a bad attitude about it. And we went back in and we kicked the crap out of it. Hooray. But that cost a lot of money and time. And it was just like, we're done for today. We'll do more tomorrow, okay? So I'm up on the hill south of Bastock, right out the front gate, farming beehive chips, as is my proclivity, because I make silent oil. I supplied Leviathan with silent oil for like 7 years. If you bought silent oil, 80% guarantee you bought it from me. I made that all day, bro. It's because I was taking care of my dad while he was dying, and I had to be his caretaker, so I just played Final Fantasy XI a bunch, and I made a ton of money, and pretty much all I did was make silent oil and prism powders. So I'm up on that hill, minding my own beeswax, literally. Christina comes on. She sends me a PM. And just for absolute clarification, I was a virgin at the time. I didn't know how to handle this situation. She sends me a PM and she's like, hey, I had a dream about you last night. And I'm like, oh, that's odd. I mean, I guess I did a pretty cool thing on Paladin. I guess that was sticking in your head, right? And she says, nah, it was you and me in a skyrise apartment in New York at nighttime having wild sex together on the bed. And I'm like, okay, I'm not really sure why you're telling me this, but okay. Dreams aren't necessarily always a one-to-one thing. It could be symbolic of something else. And she was like, yeah, maybe, but I was so horny I had to wake my husband up and have him bang the crap out of me because I couldn't stand it. And I'm like, oh, that's, again, not sure why you're telling me this. But I was a 23-ish something retard who thought of my dick more than anything. And the first mistake I made was not immediately rejecting her and just being like, yo, don't talk about that kind of crap to me, please. Could have saved myself a lot of problems if I had done that, maybe, but what happened, and let's get into that. We keep doing COP together, and pretty much every time her husband logs off to go put their 2 kids to bed, and then he himself is going to go to bed because, her and him worked very different hours, different jobs type of deal, and they weren't always on at the same time. That was another problem. Again, I was a virgin. I did not did not understand all the red flags, and unfortunately, even if I did, I probably would have ignored them anyway because, again, dick thinking retard that I was. Like, we get all the way to the Omega Ultima fight. It takes us like 2 months or something to get there. And, the whole time, um, Christina and I were, doing this stupid horny internet thing, and around that time, eventually, that wasn't sufficient for her, and so she asked me, "Hey, can I call you on the phone?" And I was like, I don't know if that's such a good idea. Like your husband's gonna find out if you do that. And she said, "No, I'll call you while I'm at work." I'm like, "What what?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I work at a desk job in a cubicle where no one can see me, so I can get away with doing things while I'm at my desk." And I'm like, "Okay, kind of wish that I didn't get suckered into that." But I did because I was a moron. And we eventually we clear the Omega Ultima fight, and around that point, I start thinking to myself, like, dude, I'm tainting my memories of Chains of Promathia. Because anytime I think about Chains of Promathia, as much as I love it, I'm going to remember this and what I did. I wanted to end it for a while, but again, when you're that age and a virgin and a male, you think with your dick. You do not think with your brain at all. And, the whole time, like, the thing that made it really terrible, is that Tarot and I were becoming friends while I was having an affair with his frickin' wife. And it got to a point where one time we was doing KS30s, a couple of us in the link shell, and we weren't doing it with the barred black mage burn system. We were actually going in with 3 DPS subbing ninja. We were doing that method, which requires you to focus really, really hard, and if you slip up and mess up one time, that scorpion's going for another person. And the way we did things was, your seals, your coffer, your money. We don't do the gather up all the stuff and split the funds thing. It's too much work. It's too much math. And there's always someone saying, "Oh, you owe me 20,000 more gil than blah, blah, blah." And it's like, you know what? F that. If you did the thing to go in, that's your coffer. Don't complain about your drops. You got what you got. So I'm on War, Nin. I'm soloing mine on. I still specifically remember I was on the north side of the little arena pit thing, up against the wall. Christina sends me a message, and she's like, "Hey, I just realized I only live 4 hours away from you. I think maybe I'll come visit you," because it got to a point where, doing it on the phone wasn't good enough either. Now she wanted it in real life because it's a slippery slope, and that's what it leads to. And that was the point where I finally first told her, "Look, we got to stop this. We both know this isn't right. And now you're talking about you want to do this in person?" Like, nah, I don't think we can do that. And she's like, "Well, I've already been looking up apartments near where you live." And I'm just like, oh. You ain't talking about coming to visit. You're talking about coming to live here. You're talking about abandoning your husband and your kids. Over what? Me? Oh boy. And, for a while I kept making the excuse of like, oh, well, because she was like 10 years older than me. I kept making the excuses like, oh, well, she's older. I'll let her lead the relationship because I'm still a virgin. So, and that was the problem, man. I kept making excuses the whole time. I kept justifying, it's just online. It's not actually cheating. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it is. And look what it started to, look what it almost reached. Like, my gosh. She doesn't say anything after I tell her that. And we do 2 more KS30s. And then she starts messaging me about my kids are asking me why I'm crying, and I had to tell them, mommy's crying because this mean man on the internet isn't being nice to her. And it's like, I gotta say, I have never felt more uncomfortable and dirty as I was at that point. I'm like, are are you trying to use your kids as ammunition to manipulate me? What, while you're trying to abandon them? Oh my. This is worse than I thought, man. I somehow focused enough for us to finish out those KS30s, and rightfully so. I didn't get anything good out of my coffer. The best thing I got was the ox blood, the vendor for 13,000 gil, and because frankly I didn't deserve anything good at that point. And I'm gonna admit, with great shame, much chagrin, and it's one of the few regrets in my life. Mostly because of what I was doing, sure, but the justification that I was using, I didn't want to break up the static party. I was so addicted to getting progress and change Promathia. I was so determined I'm going to be one of the first North Americans to get sea access. Why would that even matter? No one knows. If there's not enough people to go into sea to form alliances, no one knows how to farm the triggers or where to even trade them to fight the sea gods. Why does that matter? Why did I care so much? That was my reason. As absolutely pathetic as that is. That's why I was like, okay, well, I guess keep doing this, because I don't want to break up the static party, because it's really hard to get people willing to do this. We get sea access, and we keep on going. We get all the way up to the pot fight, and for some reason we can't beat it because we're idiots. I don't know why. We got through all the most difficult fights in all of Chains of Promathia, and what do we get stuck on? That stupid fight with the 4 magic pots. I don't know why we couldn't clear it. We always failed when there was one left. I guess we just kept getting overexcited, and it's like, oh, we're about to beat it this time. No, you're not, because you got Faraga 3, because you forgot to put up elemental resistances, and you can't really use shadows on that. But I'm glad we couldn't finish it, because, again, I would have tainted my memories of Chains of Promathia with this otherwise. Oh, man, that beer is hitting me nice right now. Tell you what. So, again, one day I'm on Bastocks Hill farming beehive chips, because I can just throw my Unger boomerang at them and watch anime and just not think and make some money. But the whole time I'm just thinking to myself, like, I need to fess up about this. I need to come clean about this. But I'm not only am I gonna lose my static party, I'm gonna get kicked out of my link shell, because if I was in charge of that link shell and I caught wind of this, I'd kick me out too. That's a horrible thing to do, and to do it as long as I did, and not only doing that, but also with someone in my own static party for COP, doing it behind his back, and he had no clue. Eventually, the guilt of it just hit me one morning. I see Tarrant log in. There's only like 7 of us in the link shell, and I knew right then and there, like, I'm gonna have to tell him. I'm just gonna have to tell him. And when I decided that I was going to do that, I ran into the bathroom and threw up for about 30 minutes of nothing but stomach acid, because I had just woken up and didn't eat anything yet. So I messaged him and I'm like, hey, I got to tell you something really important, bro. But I need to make sure that you're alone and that you're sitting down. And he was like, yeah, well, Christina just went to work, and I just got back from dropping the kids off at school. So yeah, I'm by myself. And he's just like, we're friends, bro. You can tell me anything if you feel like you need to. And that made it worse. I went and threw up again. And I come back and I'm just like, all right, look, dude, here's the deal. Me and Christina have been having an affair behind your back ever since Riverine said A01. Remember that night she woke you up really horny? Yeah. She was dreaming about me for some reason. And ever since then, yeah, that's been going on, dude. And he don't say nothing for 5 minutes. I was expecting that he was like loading up some hacking tools and he was gonna do like an IP trace route on me, find my address, and burn my house down. Because that's what I would do if someone was doing that to my wife. But after like 5 minutes, all he says is, wow, period. Thank you. I was like, what? That's not the reaction I expected. And he's just like, dude, I had no idea. I had no idea that I had problems in my marriage. I really didn't know. I thought that my marriage was rock solid and that there would never be a problem. And because of that, I've been focusing too much on this game. I've been ignoring my wife, basically, and her needs in favor of this thing that was more important to me. And we talked for a good half an hour about a lot of things that I can't even really remember at this point. But it was some pretty real stuff. And then I think once the shock left his body, that's when the indignation took over. And that's when he actually told me, it was like, by the way, if you ever talk to my wife again, I will find you and I will kill you. And I was like, there's the reaction I expected. That's what I wanted to hear. I feel better now I feel better about it now, oddly, about being, having my life threatened. And they left the link shell. And people kept asking me, hey, how come they left the link shell? And I was just like, I don't know. And they're like, why wouldn't you know? You were in a static party with them. You guys were like really close friends. Why? They didn't tell you? And I was just like, nope, don't know what the deal is. I guess you can ask them yourself. No one ever did, though, thankfully. I've told this story to a couple people, but it's been like 15 years, and you know what? I still think about it occasionally, and it gnaws at me, it chews at me, and I had to get this out. Why? There's a reason I'm finally deciding to make a video about this and share this, because my wife and I have been playing Final Fantasy XIV recently. And with the Moogle Tombstone event that's going on right now, there is a lot of people hanging out in all the towns. And as a result, there is a lot of people shouting for their frickin' retarded, troglodytean, mongoloid, brain dead, sex party, dungeon, DJ, lewd, wet tub garbage constantly. And the other day I got so sick of it that I just started like just screeching at people and shout about like, you guys have no idea what you're getting into. You think this is some innocuous, innocent thing you're getting into? You have no idea what this kind of stuff is the initiator for. You have no idea how much you are going to ruin your life with this thing. You're going to keep making excuses and justifications for it. Eventually, you're going to ruin your damn life. I almost did. I almost ruined someone else's marriage over this too, because I just kept making excuses because it's just online. It's not actually a problem. Yeah, it fucking is, okay? Holy shit. I am one of the people responsible, and I've been in that dark, horrible, nasty, disgusting place. And here I am, 15 freaking years later, and you know what? It's still eating at me. That's why I had to make this damn video. Don't fuck with any of that, man. Just don't. Don't make excuses for it. Don't get into any of that shit ever. It will ruin your life, man. Like, I'm an ex-opioid addict. I was an opioid addict for 13 years. Okay, honestly, that ruined my life too. And I've done a lot of things that have ruined my life, but getting into that kind of crap, making excuses for it, thinking with your dick all the time, it'll fucking ruin your life. Anyway, a couple months after the fact, homeboy actually hit me up and he was like, dude, you know what? My marriage is stronger than ever now. We talked things out. You know, I actually understand now that my wife just has an unbelievably strong sex drive and I don't. So I didn't realize that I wasn't giving her what she needs anymore. And, you know, it's a thing that can happen even when you're married. You know, you have a couple kids and then it just becomes, oh, I got to take care of the kids and do all this stuff for them. When's my me time, right? And in Tehran's case, he admitted that he put his me time ahead of his own wife, such to the extent that she started trying to get from other places what he just wasn't giving. And just stay away from that, man. Just stay away from that shit. Anyway, I hope this video will actually upload this time so I can finally get this off my damn chest. Guess that's it.